So Park, what did Allstream recommend to you in resolving some of the challenges that you faced?
So the big one was, of course, moving to the IP trunking, and we basically teamed the rollout of both the Cisco solution as well as the IP trunking in each of the offices that we were going out to. So that was a big part of it. But also we also leveraged their unified communication team to help us with the design and the deployment as well.
Very often in discussions that I've had and I've had with many other people is that IP trunking is an enabling service. When you deploy it or consider deploying it along with a unified communications solution, there are certain things about it that can really optimize the use of the network, the consolidation of the network, and they actually work together. Yeah.
And then further to that, as we evolved the platform, we moved from the 4 class of service to the 6 class of service. So although we're not doing the video today, it's we are ready for it. As we start looking into it going forward.
So I got to ask, when you went into this new solution, was anyone in your company as a whole thinking we have to create a converged network solution, or did it just kind of?
Yeah, they don't. I don't think the business thinks of it as a converged solution. I mean, we as technologists, we talk about it as a converged solution. All they care about is the feature set. What does it give me? How does it benefit me? We talk about productivity. It's certainly, it's not something that that's easy to measure, but certainly it provides a foundation for increased productivity. So in our very first implementation, we did 2 offices. We did one this is back in late 2007. We had spent 2 months doing the design and doing the pilot implementation, got the data center core components up and running, and we did the initial install in Waterloo, and in October. We went back in December, and normally, we would expect to see the office full of brokers waiting for those last-minute deals to come through. The office was empty. Nobody had to come in because they knew that if a client called them to close a deal, they would get the message on their phone. They could be doing whatever they want to be doing the last-minute Christmas shopping, whatever the case may be.
Melanie, hearing all of this discussion, are these natural conversations you've heard in the industry overall?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just to take that last example, we're finding so much growth in this idea of a virtual workplace where people are working. They're not going into an office from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 every day. And that may be because they're working from home part of the time, but in a lot of cases too, it's because they're juggling lots of different things. I mean, now for real estate, that's common, right? You've got to be out anyway on your client visits and so on. But what we're finding is even for other types of organizations, they've got knowledge workers, employees who, they need that flexibility in their schedules.
So going back to CBRE, how did you start to plan out? You had talked about the different phases, and it seems that that's a typical process for larger businesses. Were there any other best practices you could share with us as to how you prepared your organization through this?
Sure. Yeah. The project plans are available for $19.95. Just send me an email. But realistically, what you need to have a complete view of the overall infrastructure. So we basically looked at all of our offices. We pulled equipment records for every location. To help us with the design of the number of the you don't want to have to dial all 10 digits to reach somebody, so we actually came up with 2-digit region codes and a 4-digit extension to deal with the DID overlap between the offices, having that complete inventory, and then figuring out what your costs are at each location. So in one of our largest offices downtown, where we've got almost 400 people, we were in a fully managed solution. They were under contract, and we had to time it so that when the contract expired, we were ready to go. But they were paying the managed provider for everything from rental of handsets to the rental of the phone lines to per voicemail, $50 per Mac every time they wanted to just move the line from one desk to another desk. So finding out what those costs are, and then in our case, starting small to get our feet wet and to understand all the nuances, and we certainly wanted to find an IT-friendly location that would work with us through the challenges, but also the ones that would see the benefit, and then we scaled very, very quickly from that point forward.
And were there specific criterion you were looking for from a service provider in providing this kind of SIP trunking solution?
Certainly the tail end hop off was a big issue for us. It's a little thing, but from the user's perspective, they were entering, they enter a 4-digit long distance code. There was the management of every time a new employee started, we had to get them a long distance code. So that was a bit of an issue. So we certainly saved, there was a lot of soft costs and savings there. But we're also looking for a partner to help us do the implementation, and the UC group was really good in coming up with the actual test plan. So I mean, there's basic things that we want to test as business users. Can we get dial tone? Does long distance work? That's the basic stuff. But what they came up with was from the experience that they had with deploying other solutions. They actually came with some pretty esoteric stuff, like testing long distance calling to restricted areas. Certainly a lot of programming details that had to be done, and certainly with the right partner to help you work through that project plan. The one that's done it a few times certainly helps to smooth things along.
So we're seeing the market is really suddenly ready for SIP and for IP in general. The technology's been around for a while, but as is often the case with new technology, you've got your kind of bleeding edge adopters, right? Those are the folks who take it on right away. In 2010, there were about 7 million SIP trunks out there. In North America, we expect that to grow to close to 60 million by 2017. So that's pretty significant growth. Double-digit growth all across the board when it comes to IP communications. Cost is very important, certainly cost reduction, but you know what? Sometimes it's not the primary driver. I mean, we've got a lot of companies that are saying, look, I want to start taking advantage of some of these advanced communications and collaboration technologies. In a lot of cases, we've got companies saying, my business is changing, my employee base is changing, right? I don't have everybody going to an office every day. We've got global organizations now that maybe 5 years ago, they couldn't have been global, right? But they're starting to move into new regions, new areas. All of that is really making them take a look at their technology infrastructure and say, well, how can I enable communications, collaboration in a way that keeps us as productive, if not makes us more productive, than we were all in the same place?